It was quite a weekend news-wise as Congressman John Lewis, he was on Meet the Press, and he said this.
Do you plan on trying to forge a relationship with Donald Trump?
You know, I believe in forgiveness. I believe in trying to work with people. It's going to be hard. It's going to be very difficult. I don't see this president-elect as a legitimate president.
You do not consider him a legitimate president. Why is that?
I think the Russians participated in helping this man get elected, and they helped destroy the candidacy of Hillary Clinton. I don't plan to attend the inauguration. It would be the first one that I miss.
That was as disgraceful as it gets. And I know, he's a civil rights icon. Well, you know what? John McCain is a war hero. He was a prisoner of war for 8 years, tortured. That doesn't mean I don't criticize John McCain because of the fact that he was imprisoned during the war and he was a war hero. John Lewis is not out of bounds for criticism. And what he is doing here is not only reprehensible and disgusting and divisive, but he's also giving the Russians what he believes they wanted. He's buying in, he's perpetuating that this is an illegitimate president, that the United States has an illegitimate president in Donald Trump. Well, if John Lewis on one hand is saying the Russians did this because they wanted to get Trump elected and they fiddled with it, isn't he playing right into their hands? But this is not about the Russians and the election and the hacking and influencing elections and all that. This is not about that. John Lewis exposed himself. He hates Donald Trump, I believe. Listen to this.
Donald Trump came to you and said, you know, I want forgiveness here. I want your trust, or I want your, would you take him to Selma?
Well, by going to Selma, like President Bush, President Clinton, President Obama, maybe he would learn something. Maybe he would get religion.
So you would bring him? You would do that for him if he asked?
Well, I would not invite him to come.
You wouldn't invite him? But if he asked to come, would you let him?
I wouldn't try to do anything to prevent him from coming.
But he would have nothing to do with them. See, it's not about the Russians and Hillary. He wouldn't even take Donald Trump to Selma. You're a man of forgiveness? Really? Then why wouldn't you take him to Selma if he said, Congressman, take me to Selma? He said, I will not. What does that have to do with the Russians? Nothing. It's hate. It's hate. And today he stood at a Martin Luther King Day breakfast and he said, never, ever hate. Maybe he should listen to his own words. Now, Donald Trump tweeted out in response, as you would expect, and let's put up the tweet, Congressman John Lewis should spend more time on fixing and helping his district, which is in horrible shape and falling apart, not to mention crime-infested, rather than falsely complaining about the election results. All talk, 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 no action or results. Sad. Now, Dianne Feinstein weighed in on this. Watch.
I understand why John Lewis feels the way he does. This is a very fearful and divided nation right now, and the Trumps have not done anything to bring it together. I really regret the president-elect's response to what John Lewis said. It's without understanding of his history, of what he went through, of the fact that this is Martin Luther King weekend. And there is so much fear in this country.
She regrets Donald Trump's response, and she understands what Lewis said, and as if you're not supposed to say anything because it's Martin Luther King's weekend. I mean, what world am I living in?